Chelsea's in-form run took a slight detour on Saturday, with the Blues taking on Arsenal at Stamford Bridge in a feisty London derby and drawing the game 2-2. But what happened in this game, and why? Let's dive in. Lads, lasses and the rest of the masses, welcome back to the channel. I'm Mono from Mono CFC and this is my post-match tactical breakdown for Chelsea versus Arsenal. This was a great opportunity for Chelsea to prove how good we really were, with arguably our toughest test to date after a run of 3 wins in a row in all competitions. A good performance here would be a statement of intent from Pochettino's men, showing that we are able to compete with the bigger teams as well as the smaller ones. Usually I like to call our matches games of 2 halves, but this one felt more like a game of 2 periods, with Chelsea dominating the flow of the match for the majority of it, but letting the game go in the latter stages of the match. And before I get comments about it, no, field tilt and possession stats do not equal dominance if you do nothing with the ball. The fact of the matter is, in this game, Chelsea's game plan worked exactly as we wanted it to, and Arsenal couldn't implement theirs at all. It was a great piece of tactical brilliance from Mopo, so let's take a look at the Chelsea setup first and foremost. Chelsea weren't set up in our usual 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1 in this game because of one clear absentee, the lack of an out-and-out striker in the centre. Instead, we played a bizarre variant of a 4-4-2 or a 4-2-4 if you'd like. That 2 up top was a combination of Conor Gallagher and Cole Palmer, who both operated like false 9s, with Sterling and Mudryk occupying the wider roles up top also. Behind them, we saw the pair of Enzo and Caicedo, and then a more normal looking back 4 with Cucurella and Malo Gusto back operating on their natural sides. This setup changed our team to use what most would refer to as a box midfield, with the central players arranged in a small rectangle, making the middle very hard to play through. We know that Arsenal traditionally like to utilise the central areas, with Rice, Jorginho and Ødegaard being their main playmakers, along with Alexander Zinchenko, who also loves to invert into the midfield from left fullback position to create their own box. Chelsea's box nullified Arsenal's main tactical setup, with Ødegaard virtually unable to ever get on the ball, and thus stifling any creativity from central areas. For the majority of the time, Arsenal had to play the ball into wider areas, which usually isn't a problem for them, with Bukayo Saka and Gabriel Martinelli being great attacking outlets as well. However, in this game, that option was also shut down very efficiently. Arsenal's wingers are extremely dangerous when they have time and space to drive towards the opposition's box, or cut infield and offload the ball toward the aforementioned central players to find the final pass. Neither of those options were available to them in this game because Malo Gusto and especially Marc Cucurella refused to give them any time or space, and the centre was too congested like mentioned previously. The press from those two was extremely aggressive, sticking tight to the wingers and forcing Saka and Martinelli to play backwards rather than forwards. With the 2 fullbacks occupied by Sterling and Mudryk, who were extremely wide, there weren't many if any opportunities to create 2v1s against our fullbacks, and limited Arsenal to constantly recycle the ball and not create anything. Which leads us onto the second key tactic from Poch, the press. Anytime the ball went back to a defender or Raya in goal, Chelsea stepped on the gas, using our abundance of energy to close down the opposition players and create opportunities from Arsenal's mistakes. As I mentioned in my preview before the game, Raya looked incredibly shaky under pressure in this game, and couldn't distribute the ball entirely how he'd have liked in this one. Chelsea knew that we would be conceding possession in this game, and thus had to find another way to fashion chances for ourselves, and this was one of the main options. The other option was hitting the ball long from the back. Levi Colwill, Thiago Silva and Robert Sanchez all have the capability of hitting our forwards with long passes, and when the ball went back to them we did something slightly interesting too. The 2 forwards, Conor and Palmer, would drop deeper, and Sterling and Mudryk would instead stay high to receive the ball, either with runs in behind or staying out wide. And it's from this exact scenario that our first goal comes. The ball goes back to Sanchez, Arsenal push up high to try and win the ball, but Sanchez sprays a neat pass into Mudryk wide left, who knocks the ball centrally into Gallagher. We move the ball up the pitch on the transition until Sterling whips the ball into the box from the right hand side onto the head of Mudryk, with his effort being blocked by William Saliba's hand. The referee gets referred to the pitch side monitor and after a short review awards Chelsea a penalty. Cole Palmer steps up after wrestling the ball off of Sterling and calmly lashes the ball into the bottom left corner, sending Raya the wrong way and giving the Blues a 1-goal lead. Now I know a lot of people are going to argue that this is not a penalty, but that's genuinely just bias. This is a stonewall penalty by today's laws. His hand is in an unnatural position, he's blocking an effort on goal, it's a clear pen, no debate needed. After the goal went in, Chelsea did what we have been doing for the majority of our successful games this season. We got our early goal, now it's back to sitting in our shape and hitting the opponents on the counter once spaces open up. We did this for the majority of the rest of the half, creating a few good opportunities and limiting the amount of opportunities Arsenal were able to fashion. The Gunners would no doubt be going into the dressing room frustrated, as Mikel Arteta's side were completely flummoxed in the first half and would have to try and battle back in the second. Real quick, if you're enjoying the content and want to see more, please consider subscribing to the channel. Cheers. And battle back they did, eventually. The first portion of the second half was largely like the first, Chelsea's game plan working to perfection and Arsenal seemingly unable to find a solution. The one change they made to try and rectify this at half time was the man I said was the weak link in their team, Zinchenko, coming off. He was unable to play the way he normally would and was getting completely roasted by Sterling and Gusto all half. On a yellow card, he was subbed off and in his place came Takahiro Tomiyasu, who would, despite normally being a more defensive player, play in a central area instead alongside Jorginho. But it didn't take long at all for Chelsea to extend our lead, as once again an aggressive press from Chelsea forced Arsenal to give the ball away. Ben White gets pressured by Cucurella and Mudryk, rushing his pass back to Ødegaard, and Conor Gallagher does what he does best, cutting the ball out to win it for Chelsea and driving up the pitch. He lays the ball off to an on-rushing Mykhailo Mudryk, who takes a look up and hammers the ball into the far side netting over Raya for the goal. Now let's be honest, it's unlikely that Mudryk meant to score here, but I will say the placement of the cross come shot is 100% deliberate and not a mishit like some are suggesting. As Mudryk said in his post-match interview, he's been instructed to watch Raya's positioning by our goalkeeping coach Tony Jimenez, as he loves to come off his line. As I mentioned in my preview, Raya is super susceptible to efforts from outside the box, as he is a much smaller keeper than most, and I think Mudryk's intention here is not to score, but to put the ball over the keeper for a tap in at the back post. You can see from the replay that he looks up twice, once to see if he has support, which he does in Sterling, and then another one where he wants to aim the ball. I think he gets fortunate with the spin of the ball from an extremely slick surface due to the rain, and it ends up careening into the goal rather than the back post. Regardless, Misha has deserved a goal at Stamford Bridge for a long time, and he got one to put us 2-0 up and have a much larger lead to hold on to, making the job for Arsenal almost impossible. Not only does the scoreline extend, but Chelsea clearly get more confident, playing faster, immediately almost creating another chance for Sterling, with the crowd roaring them on. But despite this confidence aiding us to stay ahead for much of the second half, it was also our downfall and the reason why we didn't win this game. Us scoring the second really motivated our opposition, as they had to get a goal soon or they'd definitely lose this one. We saw a patch of Arsenal dominance at the start of this half, creating a lot more half chances than before, but not anything clear cut and ultimately not putting the ball past Sanchez. Chelsea had the chance to put the game to bed, with a very good chance during this period, as Raya once again gave the ball away under pressure to Cole Palmer, who is not clinical enough and isn't able to put the ball past the keeper into the open net. The next clearest chance also came from Chelsea, with them subbing Mudryk off for Jackson, and he immediately got involved from a counter-attack from an Arsenal corner, a long ball up to Sterling, who then played the Senegalese through, but he's cold off the bench and isn't clinical enough again to put the ball past a scrambling Raya. With Jackson coming on, Chelsea swapped formations into a more traditional one, setting up in our usual 4-2-3-1, which allowed us to get a much better grip of the game. We created some great chances with some confident passing passages, and had a decent spell of possession. With only 13 minutes left on the clock, it looked like a comfortable win for Chelsea. But it wouldn't be a Chelsea game without an individual mistake or two, would it? In a moment of madness, that confidence that we had gained turned into complacency, and a poor showing from the collective of Robert Sanchez and Enzo Fernandez gifted Arsenal a way back into the game. Sanchez's pass under pressure is poor, and Enzo by all accounts should be able to still get onto it, but he can't, leaving an empty net for Declan Rice to sweetly strike the ball into for 2-1. To make matters worse, this was Arsenal's first shot on target all game. It took them 77 minutes to get a single opportunity on goal, and we still don't win this game. Like I said in my preview, Arsenal seem to always find a way back into games, whether through luck or determination. You simply can't be giving them even a sniff of a chance back into a game, because they will find a way back if you let them. They are the ultimate comeback artists, and giving them one goal means they will ready their easels and brushes to prepare for another masterpiece in that field. This is such an avoidable mistake considering the circumstances, and it just comes down to what I said before, complacency. These two switch off for a split second thinking the game is won, and that lackadaisical error in judgment ultimately goes on to cost us this game and cost us all 3 points. But they would need to get that other goal, and get it they did. Inevitably they did. As soon as the first went in, we all knew it was going to happen. The entirety of Stamford Bridge went nervy and fearful knowing what was approaching. Leandro Trossard comes off the bench and ultimately gets that goal, but it was the substitutions from Poch that I felt lost us this game. He takes off arguably our two best performing players, Sterling and Palmer, for Madueke and James. The James substitution I understand, we needed defensive reinforcement, but why not just put him on for Gusto in his natural position, the player that eventually loses his man for the goal? We put Madueke on the left when he's far better suited to the right, and his lack of defensive awareness in comparison to Sterling's also costs us here, with him not getting out to Saka quickly enough to block the cross, which Sterling had been doing all game. The ball goes out wide right to Saka, who, unchallenged for the first time this game, sweeps the ball to the back post. Gusto, as I mentioned, loses his man and looks confused, as if someone else was supposed to be picking him up. Maybe James, or even Sanchez coming out to claim the ball? I don't know. But he does, and Trossard sneaks into that area to put the ball past Sanchez and score a point for the Gunners. And us Chelsea fans are sat here stunned, but not entirely surprised, I think you can say. We've seen the same thing happen over and over again, individual errors overriding a fantastic team performance, and one that we should be proud of. It seems all doom and gloom, and as Arsenal celebrate a draw and we feel like we lost the game, we still gain 1 point and move up to the top half of the table, and can gain confidence for our upcoming fixtures, because this one was arguably the toughest one out of all of them, and apart from those errors, passed this test with flying colours. That was the story of this game really. Chelsea can look forward to Blackburn in the Cup, but before then, on Saturday we face Brentford. The match preview for that will likely be out on Friday evening around 7 PM the day before the game, so keep an eye out for that one. And finally, before the end of the video, it's time for the question of the day. As always, I'm going to highlight some of the comments from the last video, so here are a few responses to the last question of the day. Thanks guys for your continued support as ever. If you want your comment to be featured in the next video, leave your answer to this video's question of the day down below with QOTD at the start. So for this week's question of the day, we'll go for another kind of personal one. What is your favourite Chelsea moment or memory, and why? But that was just my tactical breakdown for this match. Thank you ever so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on this match in the comment section below, and if you'd be so kind, subscribe to the channel and leave the video a like if you enjoyed. Don't forget to tap the notification bell so you never miss a video from me, or check out some of the other videos on the channel on screen right now. I've been Mono from Mono CFC, and remember, in the rain or in the dry, keep that blue flag flying high. Come on you Blues.